In one of the earlier posts, I've mentioned about the spread of Romanesque art and architecture in Central and Northern Europe, and the conversion of Poles, Magyars, Bohemians, Nordic peoples to Christianity was, of course, gradual, non-linear, took several centuries, mainly between the 10th and 12th centuries, and this process were accompanied by political struggle. And the rulers and native elites of forming Scandinavian kingdoms, Poland, Bohemia, and Hungary, they used Christianity as a political tool to centralize their kingdoms, to consolidate the power, to legitimize it, and that is why this process are usually called top-down Christianization. Nonetheless, it does not mean that Christianization was solely introduced by force. The function of rulers as opinion leaders, and also the other local factors and features, and the expansion of trade networks, and the role of missionaries should not be underestimated. And also it should be taken into account that Christian elements and pagan elements were mutually influenced, that led to the introduction of a sort of syncretist practices. And in some cases, rulers hoped for large military and political assistance of the Western Christian rulers and kings, and in addition, personal networks, like for example, marriages on Christian princesses, had of course also their impact. In general, unsurprisingly, secular power and Christianity often were interlinked in many ways. For example, the rulers could control the church, they could implement the models of administrative and territorial organization, of taxation, which were all brought by Christianity, with Christianity, and they also could use religious personnel in administration, but still, of course, there were differences between the Christianized kingdoms in the implementation of these models. And still there was for sure pagan resistance, and the religious conflicts were often resolved by force. With the Christianization and with the establishment of dioceses and archdioceses, the Romanesque artistic elements and Romanesque styles in general, and also resources like, for example, the brick in Scandinavia, were introduced to these regions and mixed with local artistic traditions. And undoubtedly, a significant role was played by monastic orders, and even by the Cistercian order, which was mentioned in one of the previous posts. The Cistercian order, although it opposed the luxurious artworks of, for example, the Cologne order, but by the 2 centuries after the establishment of the order, Cistercian enthusiasm for strict aesthetic asceticism had waned for the most part, and they spread artistic elements throughout the European kingdoms, and they also produced they produced many wonderful works of art, for example, stained glass panels, and manuscripts, and etc. And so the Cistercian order should not be seen as hostile to art, although it did have legislative prohibitions against colorful figurative decorations. Check the source on the website and in the comments.